Hi guys, Chef Laura here. This week we're talking about pastries. So what better pastry to make than a strawberry Napoleon? It not only is beautiful, but it's extremely delicious as well. So let's get started. For the strawberry Napoleon, you're going to need some strawberries, some puff pastry ready to go, some pastry cream, basic sugar glaze, chocolate, and cream chantilly, which is basically whipped cream. For this recipe, you'll need arrowroot or cornstarch, vanilla, dark or semi-sweet chocolate, sugar, confectioner's sugar, which is also called powdered sugar, heavy cream, eggs, strawberry, butter, and puff pastry. The puff pastry that I'm using is just this. You can get this at your freezer section of your local grocery store. Since I'm making everything else from scratch, I wanted a simple, easy dough that's already made. So let me show you how to cook this. So you'll want to thaw the puff pastry out ahead of time so it's moldable and easy to use. And it looks just like this. And you can just unfold it like that. Separate the pieces and then puncture them with a fork. Alright, so we're going to bake these in the oven at 425 degrees for 10 minutes. Alright, it's been 10 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and lower the temperature to 325 and then bake it for an additional 3 minutes or until it's golden brown, and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, our puff pastry is ready, so it should be a nice golden brown color, just like this. Let's go ahead and let that cool down. All right, for the strawberries, let's go ahead and hull them first. So take off the green part, and then we're going to slice them. And I like to slice them vertically so that you can see the inside like this. It's more beautiful looking. So we want to slice it not horizontally, but vertically like this. And then you can put those pieces into a bowl and keep going. See how beautiful they look? Now, for the sake of presentation, I'm going to go ahead and pick out my favorite looking ones to decorate the cake with. For the pastry cream, let's start with getting our egg yolks. So go ahead and crack your egg. You're going to toss the egg yolk back and forth between the shells, dropping the egg whites into this container and putting the egg yolk into that container. And we're going to need 3 egg yolks, so go ahead and do this 3 times. You can still use the egg whites for baking, or if you want like a egg white omelet. So don't throw these egg whites away. Go ahead and use them for something else. We're going to add about 1 tablespoon of sugar and whisk that in until the yolks lighten in color. Go ahead and pour 10.5 ounces of heavy cream. We can measure out 2.5 ounces of sugar. What we're going to do is first you want to tare it, so when we put that container on there, we need to push this button to set it back to 0 so we don't include the weight of this dish when we're tallying up the sugar. So we need 2.5 ounces. So there's 0.2. 0.3. Just keep going until you've reached the right amount. And 2.5 looks about like that. Sugar to the heavy cream and mix it together. And now we're going to add it into a non-reactive sauce pot. We're going to go ahead and bring this mixture to a boil, stirring frequently so that the milk doesn't burn. 1.8 ounce of arrowroot or cornstarch. Go ahead and mix that in as well. Once the milk is boiling, we're going to go ahead and temper it into the egg yolks. Okay, so tempering is slowly increasing the temperature of the yolk by pouring in a stream of the hot milk. And we're only going to add 1/3 of this mixture, which is about half a cup. So you're going to whisk vigorously and then pour a steady stream of milk. And this is going to prevent the eggs from coagulating too fast and scrambling. This is a gentler way to increase the temperature of the eggs, but keep them nice and creamy and smooth. Okay, we've successfully incorporated half a cup of the hot milk into the egg. Now we're going to temper the egg back into the rest of the hot milk. Okay, so same thing. A nice steady stream and whisk vigorously. All right, if you don't have scrambled eggs, then you successfully tempered your eggs with the milk. Now that we have increased the temperature of the eggs, in a delicate manner, we're going to bring the whole mixture back to a boil, but you need to be careful. It's going to thicken up, and as soon as it starts to thicken up, we want to take it off the heat so that it doesn't over thicken and turn into scrambled eggs. So watch for that cornstarch to gelatinize. It'll go ahead and start absorbing the moisture, and the whole mixture will turn more into a custard, and that's how we get our pastry cream. This part should only take about 1 minute, and you need to constantly stir the entire time. All right, it's going to start thickening up now, so we want to remove it from the heat so it doesn't turn into scrambled eggs. When you're done, your cream should look something like this. For the creme chantilly, you're going to need 1 quart of heavy cream. I don't need a lot, so I'm just going to add in 1 pint, which is 16 ounces. And a quart is 32 ounces. Remember, there's 4 quarts in a gallon. Now we're going to turn on the machine and whisk the cream until it's slightly thickened. All right, this looks slightly thickened. Let's go ahead and stop it. Add in 3 ounces of powdered sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Make sure to whisk this until it's smooth and light and not grainy. If you have sugar on the sides, make sure to scrape those down so everything can be mixed together nice and even. And then you can turn it back on. As you can see, it's starting to thicken up, but I want to have some stiff peaks, and this is not quite there yet, so let's keep going. All right, it's soft and fluffy, and there's no graininess, so it's ready to go. Go ahead and take the bowl out of the mixer and let the cream chill in the fridge. Now for our basic sugar glaze, we're going to add 7 ounces of powdered sugar, 2 ounces of heavy cream. You're going to need 1 ounce of melted butter, so there's 2 tablespoons in an ounce, so if you can see these, we're going to go ahead and cut about right here to get 1 ounce. We'll melt it in the microwave for about 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, it'll look like this, so we'll go ahead and cook it for 10 more seconds. If you try to cook it too long at a time, it'll bubble over and make a big mess. This is good enough, so go ahead and pour your 1 ounce of butter in there. And we'll go ahead and whisk this together. Now, if you want it to be thicker, add some more sugar, and if you want it to be more thin, add some more cream. This is very thick, so I'm definitely going to add some more cream. Maybe add like a tablespoon at a time. so you don't overdo it. I do want the outside of what I'm piping to be thicker and then the inside to be thinner so I can flood it. So I might pipe the outer edge and then go ahead and add more liquid to this. So I'm just going to put some of this in a bag. If you have an actual piping bag, you can use that as well. I'm just using a Ziploc, and then I'll cut a little hole in the end. And then I'm going to go ahead and make this more runny. All right, now this is the runny consistency that I want for the flooding. It drips easily and goes back into itself. I think the easiest way for you to melt the chocolate is going to be put it in a Ziploc, and then we're going to microwave it 20 seconds at a time. We don't want to burn the chocolate, so make sure to only do 20 seconds at a time. 20 seconds, go ahead and squish the chocolate around. You'll see it starting to melt. Let's pop it back in the microwave for 20 more seconds. It's much more melted this time. You're going to need to repeat this process 3 or 4 times. Okay, the chocolate is free of lumps. It's smooth and ready to go. Let's go ahead and set this aside. To assemble the strawberry Napoleon, go ahead and put 1 piece of the puff pastry and then spread some custard on it. Make sure that you leave the edges clean so it doesn't drip over. And then go ahead and fill that in. Okay, then you're going to stack the strawberries on. Go ahead and put them towards the end so they stick out a little bit. Everyone can see how pretty they are. I'm going to do one side and then the other. We'll do some of the smaller ones on the end. Now we're going to go ahead and pipe some of the whipping cream. Just like that. All right, so we have our first layer done. Now we can put on the next layer of puff pastry and repeat. Alright, so this is what it looks like so far. Beautiful. Now we need to get working on the top. We're going to do the top separately. Alright, for the top, go ahead and place it on a flat surface. First we're going to use the thicker icing to pipe the edges. Kind of like when you're coloring in a coloring book, you want to do the outer lines first. And at least for this, that'll keep the flooded icing inside. So next you're going to go ahead and fill this with the more liquidy icing. You can use a toothpick to help smooth it out. And you see how the outer line that we made is keeping this in so it doesn't overflow. All right, now you're going to want to get your chocolate. Pipe some lines with your chocolate. You can even do more lines if you like. All right, and now you're going to take your toothpick and run it back and forth to make a beautiful design. Very easy to do and very fancy looking. All right, you can let this chill in the refrigerator. After you've chilled the top, you can go ahead and assemble your strawberry Napoleon. And it is complete. Beautiful.